In this video, I'm going to show you how to make ink embossed cards, but we're not doing it the traditional way using rubber stamps and ink pads. Today, I'm going to be using the Cricut Maker and some embossing pens. If you're new here, my name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest, and if you're interested in crafting and Cricut tutorials, be sure to hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell so that you don't miss a video. Now, one of my favorite crafts to do with my mom growing up was making cards. We used rubber stamps and embossing powder, and we used to heat them over the stove to watch the embossing powder bubble, and I just love doing that craft. So that is the inspiration for today's project. However, we are upscaling the project a little bit. So if you don't have a Cricut Maker, maybe you have an Explorer or one of the other machines, you can also use one of those machines as well. The embossing pens I'm using today, I got these off of Amazon and I was so excited to try these out. The package came with two different pens. So here I have a brush tip and this one is the bullet tip. I found the bullet tip embossing pen fit perfectly into my maker. I didn't even have to make any of those weird adjustments to my machine, so that's amazing. However, the other pen didn't fit perfectly in the machine. If you want to make it work, you could probably use one of those hacks you see on TikTok to try to get markers to fit in your machine, but just be careful if you try to do that. So today I'm using the Bullet Distress Pen. Now, this is not a Cricut product, but you can find it on Amazon. You're also going to need some embossing powder. So today I'm going to use gold embossing powder. You can use whatever color you like. And I will list these products down below in the description so that you can find them easily, but you can also pick them up at any craft store near you. At the end of a project, I'm also going to be showing you another little embossing trick that I like to do. And so for that piece of our project, I will be using an ink pad right here. You'll also need a heat gun. However, if you don't have a heat gun, you can use other methods if you want, like a hair dryer, or you can use your kitchen stove even and hold it over the burner. There are different options you can use. However, I highly recommend using a heat gun. And for our project, you'll need some cardstock. You can use whatever color you want. I'm going to be using black today. And of course, a Cricut cutting machine. So let's head over to Cricut Design Space and work on our ink embossed card. Now I have a baby shower coming up, so let's make a simple baby shower card. The first thing we're going to do is go over to Images, and I'm going to search the word card. And then under Filters, I'm going to select Free. And I'm going to scroll down here, and I like this pink one with the wavy edge. That is the one I'm going to select. And then I'm going to press Add to Canvas. Now you'll notice we have a card and an envelope here. You can make the envelope if you want, but I'm not going to be working with that today. So I'm going to ungroup both these images. Right now they're grouped together. And then I'm going to select just the envelope, and I'm going to press the eyeball and hide that for now as we're not working with that. And I'm just going to rotate this card. So I'm going to go up to rotate and switch that to 90 degrees. So that my card has a different orientation. Now I'm also going to change the size of my card. Right now it's sized at 10 by 7 and I think that's a little big, so I'm just going to size that down. And let's change the height to 6 inches. So now our card is 6 by 8 and that's the size I'd like to work with. Now keep in mind, if you are going to make the envelope, you're going to want to size them both together at the same time. Otherwise, your envelope will be too big or too small for your card, so make sure you're sizing them together. Now I want to insert some baby footprints, and I have uploaded some, so let's go find those. I'm going to go over to Upload, View All, and I'm going to search my images here and just type in baby. And these are the little feet I want. If you're interested in this SVG design, I'll leave it linked down below in the description. And I'm going to press Add to Canvas. Now these baby feet are way too huge, so we are going to shrink these down a little. And we can just adjust them to the size we want. I think I'm going to put them in the top corner on the front of my card. And then I'm going to add some text. So select text, and I'm going to write baby. And I'll open another text box, and I'm going to type blessings. So the front of our card will say Baby Blessings, but I want to change the font. So I have a font that I have uploaded. So I'm going to go over to System and search for it. It is called Antouk. And this is a super fun font, and I'm going to change the word blessings to the same font as well. And then we can just go ahead and adjust the images and text to where we want them. So when you're happy with where everything is, what we want to do is change the operation of our text and of our image. Right now our operation is set to basic cut. So if we were to make this, the word baby would cut out on our machine, but we are using an embossing pen today. So we're going to change the operation to pen. One thing you'll notice is that when you do change the operation, you are going to get the outline of the image or text, and the inside won't be filled in. And that is why I like to use very thin fonts when working with pen. So if your pen is thick enough, then the middle of your design will get filled in. If you want to learn more about writing with pens in Cricut Design Space, I did do a video on that, which I will leave linked down below in the description. So I've changed the word baby to the pen operation. Now I got to change the word blessings to the same, so we'll turn that into pen. And then our cute little feet here, you could have those cut out, but I also want to use my embossing pen on these feet. So I'm going to change the operation to pen. And you can see right here that our pen will outline our image. You'll also notice this dotted line on our card, and that is the scoring line, and we want to keep that so we know exactly where to fold our card. Now, before we go ahead and make it, we are going to select all our layers right here. So our pink card, our scoring line, our text, and our little feet. Make sure all of them are selected, and you can tell if they're selected by going over to the right-hand panel and noticing what is grayed out, and those are the layers you have selected. We're going to go down to the bottom right, and we're going to click on Attach. And now our card is ready to make. Now you will notice that our card here is pink on the screen. It really doesn't matter what color it is on the screen. It matters what color you put on your Cricut mat. So I'm going to be using black cardstock today. So this is actually going to be black. And our text here, I'm going to be using gold embossing powder. So that's going to be gold. So if you want to visualize it before we went ahead and made it, we can select our pink layer here, and we can turn that black. And now you can't see our text, but we can go over to our text here and we can change the color of that as well. So under pen, we can just turn that to maybe one of these brown colors that's close to gold. And we can do it for our other text here. And for our little baby feet. And you kind of have a better idea now of what the card is going to look like. Now you don't have to do that. This is just for visualization. So let's go ahead and press Make It. And here at the top left is telling us the operations that our Cricut machine will be using. We're first going to score, then we're going to be using the pen, and then it's going to do the basic cut around the outside of the card. So let's go and press Continue. And today I'm going to be using a medium cardstock, so I'm going to select that. It's in my favorites here. It also shows up under popular, so you don't need to go and search for it. So let's select medium cardstock, and we're going to load our pen into clamp A and our scoring wheel into clamp B. Now, if you don't have a scoring wheel, you can go up right above here where it says Edit Tools and click on that. And you can change it to the scoring stylus if you have a scoring stylus and you don't have the scoring wheel. I really do love the scoring wheel because it does give your cardstock a really nice crease. The scoring stylus works as well, but I am going to say the scoring wheel works better. So once you've selected your tool, you can press Apply. And let's go ahead and load our pen and our wheel. So the pen I got actually fits directly into clamp A without having to do any weird adjustments to your machine. So I was very excited about that when I purchased these embossing pens off Amazon. And then we're also going to load our scoring wheel into clamp B. I'm going to lay my cardstock on my mat, And if you find your Cricut mats not that sticky anymore, use your brayer. I find it works amazing. I can't believe I went so long without one, but it really helps give that extra push for any of the materials that you use with your mats. It really helps it stick well to the mat. So I'm going to load my mat into my machine and let's watch the magic begin. When your Cricut machine is done with the pen and scoring, Design Space will prompt you to take out your scoring wheel and insert your blade. So our card is now cut out and you can faintly see the ink from our pen that is on our card. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take this off the mat, and we don't want to bend it too much. So we will be peeling our mat off of our cardstock and not the cardstock off the mat. So here is our card. You can also see the scoring line right across the middle. I'm not going to fold it quite yet. We're first going to add some embossing powder. So here is my gold embossing powder. I'm just going to set some paper below this so it's easier to clean up afterwards so we don't make a huge mess. So I'm going to gently open my embossing powder and I'm going to just pour it right on top of my design. And then I'm just going to move it around and let it all fall down on this paper here. And I'm going to tap it just to get that excess off. Now right here it looks like I missed some spots, so I'm going to pour some more on there. And tap that again to get that all off. Now if there is some powder in places that you don't want the powder to be, just grab a dry paintbrush and you can dust that away. Or you can also just tap it down on your surface until all of that excess falls off. Now you may not get the powder perfectly off your entire card, but that's okay. Sometimes it's nice to have a few little speckles of embossing powder around your card. The main thing to keep in mind is that you want to make sure all your embossing powder is stuck to the ink itself. And then to clean up, we simply have to fold our little piece of paper with our excess embossing powder, and we're just going to dump that back into our container so that we can use that for another project. Now, when I was a kid, we used to put our embossed cards over top of the stove to get the embossing powder to melt. However, today I'm going to be using my new DeWalt cordless heat gun, which is great because I don't need to run to the kitchen to get this embossed. So we're just going to heat it up. You'll see the powder melting together and you'll know when it's ready. You'll see the baby feet here starting to get nice and shiny. So we know this is the baby feet are ready, and you can watch as the powder transforms. It's actually really cool. Now make sure you got every part because otherwise your embossing powder will just flake off if you didn't heat it up all the way. And there is our beautifully embossed card. Now all we have to do is fold it on our score line here. And we have the perfect card to give at a baby shower. Now, if you found your paper has curved too much because of the heat, you can just set it underneath a book for a little while until it flattens down again. Another thing I like to do is embellish the bottom edge of the inside of my card. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to do that. So I'm just going to grab a sheet of paper again and put my card on it. And then I have this piece of cardstock here and I'm just going to lay it at the bottom so I get a nice straight line. Now you can use an embossing pen or you can grab your embossing ink pad. And so I just got some clear ink right here. And what I'm going to do is just dab it at the bottom of the card and cover that black edge with the ink. And when you're happy with your edge, we're going to grab that embossing powder once again and sprinkle it on top. Now I have ink on this paper, so I'm going to switch back to my other sheet of paper that has powder on it already. And I'm going to do the same thing as before. We're just going to add the powder right on top. Make sure it's all covered and tap it off. If you get some stuck on there, you don't like it, again, grab the paintbrush just to remove that excess powder. And we have our embellish line there, and now all we have to do is heat that up. This is so cool, watching the powder just turn to gold here. And now we have this really cool gold edge. So when we shut the card here, we've got a little peek of the gold there at the bottom, which is really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed today's project. You can use this method for a variety of different projects. So whether you're making bookmarks or wall art, the possibilities are endless. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.